Morning, everyone. I'm looking over there, looking up our new international president on the phone. Todd asked Tom if he was distracting me. Okay, no.
You want a number?
We are thanks for it. Yes, okay, very good. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent. We have a returning guest this morning. Josh is back with us this morning, so
Great.
off and running, and things have settled down, so we're good to go. That's wonderful. Thank you. And I got a gift today from Todd. It's so we can keep track of what we are for the year. So right now we're +2 on membership. So how about that? And it won't, we're gonna have to get up a lot later. Okay, very good. Sir, the meeting is yours.
I'll 52 minutes.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here and I'd welcome any happy comments, concerned comments. Doctor.
Happy that today is Friday at my office.
Right. Traditional dentist day off.
Al, tell us something good. How the Mets doing?
Doing well.
Better than the Yankees did when they were here.
Hi. First of all, I'm going to be moving to Columbia. I have to be next to the University of Missouri Medical Center. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, I'm fighting cancer for the past 2.5 years. Due courtesy of my friends in East Africa called Somalia. I got hit with double IED and RPG. And they left me with a couple of chemicals, which wasn't happy juice. Most importantly, I will be coming back to you for meetings. So you're not getting rid of me.
We got some great clubs in Columbia we can stick you on.
No, please not. Okay, and most importantly, I want to say thank you to everybody here having me and putting up with me, and also I enjoy your company. That's
We're doing the Fischel Cancer Center.
yes, sir.
Is
So
that part of the VA?
yes, sir. It's part of TRICARE VA and also DOD. Thanks. Well, because it takes a lot of items across the board on us. And most importantly, in 3.5 weeks, it's Army football. We go to Coastal Carolina, and we start our pledge to run the table to go to a Big 6-4. So happy Wednesday and happy fun.
Good for you.
Very cool. I'm just happy to be here this morning.
We're happy you're here too.
I'll throw $1 in for thoughts and prayers towards Al.
Yeah.
Could someone help me out here? She looks familiar.
She's
Wait,
had a
wait,
birthday.
wait. Yeah, she's that remember. You want some changes?
No, just keep it frozen, have it books and stuff. I'm just happy to finally make it.
We're so happy you're
You'll
here.
give me 2 weeks in a row at least in here because I got the speaker next week.
Did somebody say?
I heard a birthday.
Birthday? Somebody-
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right. That's wonderful.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I was like
Yes.
second and had a great vacation.
Looks good. Yes.
My wife said to make sure that I tell everybody how nice Brian Hercules was. She went in yesterday to get her second booster shot, and she does not enjoy going to anything medical very much at all, or dental for that matter. So getting her there was a not major battle. She was looking for excuses. She said, I'm taking some prednisone. Should I go? I said, yes, you should go. Yeah, she has a sore arm.
I'm married to a person like you got a shot. So it wasn't a nurse at one time. I think I kind of had that in here. I signed up for Joy and I to go to the Naperville Rotary bike ride next Sunday. And I spent a portion of my young life in Naperville, probably from age like 5 or 6 up to maybe 10 or 12. So I've got some ties in Naperville, Illinois. There was 7 people there when I lived there. Now there's like 150,000. And where you tear down the $200,000 house to put a $500 million house up.
Oh, is that all?
That's all. Well, that's it. Start our own. So I'm excited about that.
He's trying to tell us people, okay, when you are.
It was,
There you go.
it's so weird because I was there, God, 20 years ago, when I went through Allstate training, I went to one of the houses that we grew up in, that my parents had built. And the people were the people that my parents sold the house to. But a few years later, I went back and it was like empty, and I'm like, nah, I don't think it'll be there next time. So I hope to check it out and be probably disappointed. But excited to see some Rotary friends in the Naperville area. So our hearts are with you, and hope it goes very well. And, oh, sad buck, happy buck, my son Bob goes to almost every cargo game, and he drove down there Friday night, and he got a ride home Friday night because someone borrowed his car. And the good news, bad news is it was recovered. Doesn't look too bad, but when they start talking to the adjuster, we may be paying off St. John's Bank and trust loan on the car. Which will make me happy because I'm kind of on the loan too, and I like to loan.
What happened to the car?
It was weird. We went down there to get some stuff out of it the other day, and there was just stuff in the trunk that wasn't his stuff, like a brake booster for some truck and some cables. And so being the resourceful guy I am, I took it from this pile. I walked over to the next car over, put it down, like, we don't need, we don't need any more stuff. If anyone remembers the Big Lebowski, there's a scene in there where his piece of crap car gets stolen, and the dude talks to impound my guy. Are you guys on it? And the guys, the police said, yeah, we got our best guys on it. So I'm sure that the best cops are on it looking for that perfect. So anyway, enough of that. So I'm excited about our program.
Yeah.
Should I be?
I think so. Should he be?
I have no clue.
All right.
You ready?
No. Oh,
Oh, good. I got more time to sit.
yeah.
Great.
Stay there for a moment.
You can rewrite everything.
Don't know.
I actually did notes this time. That, for me, is unusual.
If you guys caught on social media, Rotary International has a new president for my governor's year, 24-25, Stephanie Urchik. I guess that's how you pronounce it. It was announced yesterday, so that's very cool.
Really good.
And she will be the second woman president.
Pennsylvania.
So that's what I was just looking for here, so.
I watched some video on YouTube, an interview she did in the last year, Rotary, like.
She's very knowledgeable.
Yeah. it seemed like it.
She's been a director, she's been a trustee. I went to her district as Rotary International President's representative to their district conference, which was at a historic hotel on the, I don't know what they called it, the Centennial Road or something that goes from Pittsburgh to Washington, DC. And an old resort, and I got food poisoning. And it was not a very pleasant meeting. And I had these duties I was supposed to do, and it barely got done. And that Friday night or Saturday night, when I was supposed to give my big talk, it was touch and go. How many feet was it to the restroom, and could I make it, and all that. But I was able to give it, but Stephanie told me, she said, I'll do it if you need me to. I'm happy to do it. Yeah. She's a great gal, very nice.
You said that you had food poisoning and you had a lot of duties. That usually happens.
It was very true.
It's probably meat that did it.
Yeah, this is before I got crazy.
It might have been extra.
Totally crazy anyway. I was just a little crazy. I just had a retainer that fixed stuff.
In honor of Skylar Captain.
God bless it.
Okay, Josh, he was a very interesting member of ours that passed on this past year.
Been here a long time.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, why don't you just get up and introduce yourself again to us? And since it's been a while, we're glad you're back. So glad you're back. So
Hello, everybody. Josh Brainerd. I work at Tech Systems over in Creve Coeur. I'm a international, or not international, well, international now, staffing lead in the IT group. So I answer to Visa, MasterCard, and Discover Card for all their needs across the country and Canada. So been doing that for a couple of years. Before that, I worked at Men's Warehouse for 10 years. And I've got an 18-month-old at home now. And I've been married for a couple of years as well. So happy to join. I was at an event where we met and Rafi introduced me, and looking forward to spending time here and helping the community. So yeah.
Are you originally from St. Louis area?
I am. Yeah, I grew up in Creve Coeur.
Was it Texas Instruments?
Tech Systems.
Tech Systems.
Yeah, TK Systems. Yep.
Okay, so I'm not the only old guy that can't.
No, every time I say it on the phone, somebody says, "You're from Texas, you're from Texas." Where
I
are you
heard
from?
Texas.
That's okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, let's see. Our speaker today is our marvelous Dave Robinette.
Marvelous mate,
Yes, and we.
whatever.
As
Mr. Whatever.
follows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of it other nonsense.
Proper, John. Yes, proper and Josh.
So for the first time in, I think, forever, I actually made notes. Tells you where my brain's going. I'm going to talk about something that's for this year, but for every year is how do we get Rotary's message across? How do we tell, I'm going to pick on you for a second. How do we tell Josh about Rotary? What do we say? What are they interested in? What do we need to do? We've got some newer members. We've got some old members, older as in number of years in the club, not age. Oh, okay, that too. So we can always kind of use a refresher. So one of the things I was taught by Jerry years ago when I first got into subbing was you need to make sure you engage the classroom, make sure the kids are really engaged. So children, no, I'm sorry. Okay, guys, seriously, what is Rotary? If I were to ask that, somebody tell me, what is Rotary? Somebody were to ask you, see you wearing the bin, it says Rotary, you're in the line of the supermarket, you got 30 seconds. What's Rotary? This is your part. This is audience participation.
Remember, fellowship, wait time for the students to answer.
We'll be waiting. Okay, we're done with our time now. Thank you very much.
It is a worldwide civic organization dedicated to improving the life of people everywhere.
Okay,
Over 1.2 million members worldwide. Calling service above self.
okay. Next,
Group of individuals that want to help their hometown.
okay. Next question. Okay, well, that's really, what do you do? What, you're part of, you told me you're part of the St. Louis Club, St. Louis County Club. What do you do? What does your club do? What is Rotary for you guys?
I go look for new members.
So part might be, I talk to people about what Rotary is, I explain to them. So what does it mean to you? Why are you still in it? Let me get a free, oh wait, that was before we got the prize.
There's a fellowship of professional men and women who are interested in service locally, nationally, and probably internationally.
Okay,
We've helped out the Rotary School District with a lot of different programs, codes, bought codes for elementary school kids, dictionaries for elementary school students. We've helped out our local food pantry a great deal as far as donations to them of equipment and manpower.
okay. Now I saw your hand up a little bit.
Moving forth in the 21st century, only those who are in desperate need of help, and most importantly, service, our communities and also our 50 states around the world.
Okay.
Providing scholarships for
multiple kids throughout for years and years.
You see how the questions get harder to think about after a certain point. We can rattle off basically what's Rotary. I mean, we all know that in one way, shape, or form. We can either give the numbers, we can give what it's about, we can even go the corporate project of polio. But when it comes down to that personal is where it gets really tricky. What is it to you? What do you do in Rotary? So this is a hugely modified version of what I did at the conventions and what I've done for the clubs. I'm not using any slides. I'm not doing any of this. It's discussion because I got to thinking about it. Slides are great, but if you're talking to that person in the grocery store and you got 30 seconds, you don't have time to pull up anything on your phone. You don't have time to present a slide. You need to explain and paint the picture from here and paint it to where they can understand. So I'm going to back a bit. We're going to go to January 14th of 2008. Very nice, celebrated our 25th anniversary, and we were in San Diego, California for training as governor. I've been through 2 sets of training prior to that. I was nominated for governor in August of 06. I sat for my interview shortly after that. And early September, I was on a flight to Columbus, Ohio for training, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I met a bunch of these people that have become truly lifelong friends, as Todd can tell you, and Tom with your own classmates, and as Jerry will find out. They are truly lifelong friends. But I get to international convention or assembly where the real training takes place. And I'm in amongst people literally from around the world, 530 odd individuals being trained just like I am. We get to talk. And this person has gone to Africa 8 times to do water wells. This person is a Arch Clem Society member. For those that don't know, that's $250,000 to Rotary Foundation. This person has done, and the list goes on and on. And then there's me. I haven't done anything. I don't fit in, literally. And I remember vividly, I can see the hotel room as if I was in it right now. Standard, typical hotel room where you have the 2 double beds, you have the nightstand in between, the phone on the nightstand in between the 2. And I was telling Mary about this, and she went over, picked up the phone, held the receiver out and said, "Here, you call Scott and tell him you're not going to do it." I'm not that stupid. I do not have a death wish. Scott was Scott Harness, the governor who was current governor at that time. And if anybody has ever met or remember Scott, you don't tell Scott something like that. But I got to thinking about it. I do have stories. The dictionaries. I remember giving a child a dictionary one of the times that we did it. And he looked at me and he said, "When do I have to give it back?" Well, you don't. You mean it's mine? This is a paperback dictionary, $1. Really? But to him, it was everything. It was his own book. We have the stories. But we don't always think about it because we tend to compare it to the big stuff other people have done, and we've forgotten that all of this adds up. So I got through International Assembly. I got through the year. I survived at least. The district was still intact when I got done. I took that as, we're done. It's good. And then came Todd's year as governor, for Todd to be governor in the year that Ray Klingensmith was president. And for those that don't remember or don't know, Ray is from Kirksville. All 3 Missouri districts kind of said, yeah, he's one of us. And we wanted to do something to honor Ray at the New Orleans Convention. So the 3 Missouri governors, myself, Sherry Nielsen, and our current director, Elizabeth Yusevich, 3 of us were together one night at a zone meeting back in September prior to all of this. And what can we do for Ray? Well, we haven't been talking with a friend of ours who's from New Orleans, and he said, I'm on the board of this mission. And I'd like maybe we could do something for the mission. And we had all these great ideas. We got an email together about a week and a half later and said, okay, was that the alcohol talking or do we really want to do this? And we decided we really want to do this. What we did was we took the upper floor of the New Orleans mission and it was nothing. I mean, it was old, peeling paint, everything else. Brand new at that time club, Riverbend Club, their oldest member was 32. Brand new club. They did a lot of the initial legwork. We didn't see the place till we showed up. We came in on a Wednesday to work start on Thursday. And we came in on Thursday to start Friday, Saturday, had the dedication before the convention started. But you know, that's helped out. That's doing something. As we're doing this, they provided us food and we sat down and one of the men from the mission, they keep them, the men are able to stay there for 90 days and then it's out. But they help them find a job, they help them get some skills and so on like that. Great, no problem. Guy came up and he said, why are you doing this? And this is a gentleman from the mission. And he asked me, why are you doing this? And I gave kind of a generic pat answer of, well, we want to help the community. Yeah, but you don't live here. This isn't your community. Why are you doing this? I really had to think, why are we doing this? And then he answered his own question to me. And he said, whatever the reason you might have, know that you are making a difference to the people who live here. We took that from a blank warehouse room, basically, painted it, put carpeting in. Kansas City, one of the hospitals was getting rid of, they were remodeling, they were getting rid of a bunch of the furniture in the lobby area. So instead of throwing it away, somebody, and it may have been Elizabeth, I'm not sure who it was, talked to him and said, would you mind donating it? They explained why. They not only donated the furniture, they donated the cost of the truck and the driver to haul it down to New Orleans. We had books and books and books donated. We bought shelving. We had crews come from as far as California, a couple from overseas, and so on to take part in this. So we're doing this one planning call. And we talk about vocation. Use your vocation when you're a Rotary. And they say, Dave, you ran a pest control company. Yeah, well, you can handle setting up and coordinating all the volunteers. You can schedule them. I have never scheduled a volunteer in my life. Really? But I have scheduled in a business using your vocation. It worked out really well. You can use your imagination. I said part of the idea is to paint the picture in your head. So we had scaffolding up and we were painting lower up of the scaffolding. There was a 10-foot ceiling, lower and upper. On the gentleman on the upper part of the scaffold would paint all the way down to the end of the scaffold and all the way back up again. And I was underneath the scaffold continuing, which was just the right height because I could reach it from here, take it down and go back up again.
So he was doing 7 feet, you were doing.
I was
6
doing
feet.
about 2.5. You got it, you got it. That room was the only air-conditioned room in the entire building. And in order for them to be up there, they had to be studying. They had to be learning or reading something. You didn't just sit up there in the air conditioning and say, I'm chilling. That's not the same as digging a water well. That's not the same as going to Uganda and searching out projects. But did it make a difference? It sure did. Did that dictionary make a difference? It sure did. We have these stories. Jerry with Ryla and the stories that Jerry has told over the years Todd, with all the stories on foundation that he's told over the years. Just this morning, the stories that were told about your almost ill-fated, well, it was ill, but not ill-fated. These are stories, this is how we can express what Rotary is. This is what we can do to make a difference, to get somebody else involved. That I can't do everything. I don't have the money, but I can get involved and do something. This is what it's about in my mind. I will never, ever, ever forget this story from Ryland. And I believe I've told it here more than once. It was the Wednesday afternoon when, I don't know if they still do, but the staff was on one side of the room and the all the students were on the other side, and they just passed the microphone back and forth. What'd you get out of it? What'd you think? You didn't have to say anything. So they passed the microphone to this one young lady. She kind of raised her hand. They passed the microphone to her, and she passed it to somebody else. And this was repeated 4 or 5 times. And then she finally stood up and said, I want to do this. I had no idea what was going on. I was district governor that year. This was my year as governor, and I was down there to hear this. And this one young lady said, this literally saved my life. We looked at her, what's going on? She said, about 6 weeks ago, I was ready to end it all. I could not get along with people at school. There was just too many things going on, and I had my plan, and I was ready to end it all. And my parents kept saying, well, what about Ryland? You've got that to look forward to. You can meet new people. I don't want to do that. I'm done. I'm tired. She said, obviously, I decided to come. And I've met people that I will stay friends with the rest of my life. And you all saved my life. Now, you all know the story with Liz. That touched me like nothing else could ever have touched me. And then I got to thinking further, not just about the young lady. Think about her parents for a minute, because we were there. Would I have trusted a group of strangers with a daughter, a child, my child, that said they had a plan to end it all? Would I have trusted them? That's what Rotary is all about. The obvious answer was yes, they did. And it made a huge difference. We've got these stories. We're just not, in my mind, we don't get them out enough. Y'all maybe remember when Liz came over, this goes back years ago, when she actually spoke to the club, which was kind of interesting because Liz is not a morning person at all. She is learning. She has several calls at 6:30, and she lives down in far South City now. And the calls she absolutely positively loves is Ameristar at 7 a.m. because that's leaving her place at 6 or 6:15. So for Liz to get up in the morning, I know she was doing it more because Dad asked than anything else. But to set the stage, we had come back from the New Orleans convention, tremendous convention in more ways than one. It's one of the first conventions that once we were done with that project, all the weight was off simply because I could just enjoy it. The work was over. So Liz called me up one day and said she was taking a course at Lindenwood and said, it's a public speaking course. I got to talk for 3 minutes to 5 minutes, persuasive essay type thing. I got it pretty well done, but I don't know how to end it. And I said, well, what are you doing it on? She said, well, can I just come over rather than talk about it over the phone? My antenna tweaks up a little bit at that point. Okay, sure. So she comes over whenever it was. And being the dutiful father that I am, I'm kind of, standing over, she's setting up her laptop and, yeah, please leave. Okay, now I'm really a little bit concerned. What do you not, you're gonna have to show me at some point if you want me to help you out. I didn't say it, it's screaming up here, but it didn't come out here. I do have a filter once in a while. And she had done it on Rotary, putting it in terms of a college student. Organization of 1.2 million members, giving information about Rotary, all of this stuff that's out there. She had put in about polio, and for the cost of, coffee at the student union, whatever the number was of kids that could be immunized. But I don't know how to end it. There were two videos that were shown at the New Orleans convention. The one I have always loved, and I could probably pull it up if you wanted to. Bill Gates 99% video. I have always loved that one. And if we got time and want me to, I'll pull it up. But I showed her both of them. I have ways to legally download. I paid programs that you can legally download the videos. I don't want to say I was hijacking anything. And I said, you can use either or both. I don't care. You can use none. But what I would do would say what you got to say, play that, and sit down. Let the video finish it up for you. Okay. So she did. Called me up a few days later. She said, yeah, I gave my presentation today. I said, how'd it go? She said, well, considering even the teacher was wiping tears away when I got done, I think I did pretty good. Then she said something that I have never forgotten. And I think we need to keep this in mind, no matter who we talk to. She said, Dad, you remember all those times you and Mom talked about Rotary? And it is a lot. Yeah. You remember all the times you didn't think Paul and I were listening? Yeah. We really were. So my challenge and my question to you is, they're listening. But are we talking? Are we explaining what it's about? Are we explaining where our passions are? Why we come up every Wednesday? Why do y'all know I was going to be doing this? Why'd you show up? Why are you here? Why is it important to you to be here? Something that you all may not know, and go back to 2020. I'm trying to remember the months now, and they all tend to blend together. I was ready to leave Rotary. I was ready to leave the club. Not because I didn't want to be around you all, but I was never here. You got a habit. I was always working. Couldn't be at school at 7 a.m. and be here at 7 a.m. And one of the reasons I really pushed to start up on Zoom is I knew how I felt. And my concern was that if we didn't meet, that we would lose everything. That how I felt would be then how enough of the club felt that we were just disbanded. And that would be, in my mind, a travesty for the community. At that time, it was just Overland. Now it is Overland, Maryland Heights, and so on. I'll again go back to the question. They're listening, but are we talking? And I'm just going to leave it right there.
Dave, have we seen that video that you're talking about?
I can pull it. If you give me a minute, I'll pull it up.
Have we seen it?
Yeah, we've seen it.
Okay.
It's a good one.
It's been a while.
Yeah, while he's
It's been a
pulling-
little extra time while he's pulling that up. We are going to have our bulletin quiz. You can have this wonderful foldable. A whole lot. Of course, I guess that's one way to stop losing revenue on the farm is to have things like this. But this wonderful direct from the Houston Convention. This wonderful Rotary People of Action bag. Let's fold up. into a
Oh, there's more.
Ouch, yeah, there's more. Or the mystery gift. So the question is, what is the difference between a Rotary Fellowship and a Rotary Action Group? As presented by our illustrious speaker today, last week, and it was in the bulletin, because I pulled it up at 5 o'clock this morning.
One is social, and one is action.
Very good. All right, excellent. We have a winner. Do you want this wonderful bag?
I'll take the mystery.
You take the mystery? Okay. Well, the mystery is the wonderful note that I took for the last 3 weeks. So, congratulations.
Thank
You never know what's gonna pop up. So, all right.
What year is this from?
What's the theme that's on it?
Building community.
It's Todd's.
Bridging continents.
8, 9?
No.
10, 11.
10, 11.
Okay, very good. All right. So
Not
you have,
quite an antique.
you have, well, I mean, it's vintage. How's that? Vintage.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, yeah, I guess he didn't
Come on,
really,
man.
wasn't sure if he was
I
talking
was
about.
talking
you.
about that.
Okay, all right, very good. Do you have that up?
I have it if
Okay,
you want it.
all right. I'll step out of the way.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. We must not allow fear to stand in our way. One small step for man. One giant leap for mankind.
And that's the extent of it. The thing that I like about that video so much, there's not one word spoken other than what you hear on the sound clips. It is very powerful.
What's happened to the cases in the US? You know,
Happened to what?
the cases in the
Polio
US.
cases.
Oh, well, the one in New York, and they found, if I recall correctly,
Some of the water.
yeah, the wastewater has a reasonable amount in it, but they're concerned there's more cases. So,
People aren't immunizing. Still supposed to in the US, but not everybody is.
Isn't it amazing what we're finding in the wastewater
Yeah.
and even the door testing?
All the price to pay for being an anti-vaxxer. You know, I used to say that, people used to say that the lottery is a tax on people who are bad at math.
Yeah.
I think anti-vaxxer, being an anti-vax person is a symbolic of people who are bad at science.
it's unfortunate, and just, we're gonna pay the price somewhere along the line. This gentleman, for what he's late 20s, I believe, early 30s, somewhere in that range, and will be paralyzed for life. And the paralysis is irreversible.
And he'd never been vaccinated.
No,
I just pulled it up on the CDC website. It says, unvaccinated individual from Rockland County, New York, consulting with the State Department of Health in New York and public health experts to find out how and where he was infected and provide protective measures for everyone else in the community. But to under and unvaccinated individuals. So,
now he was, if I recall correctly, he is part of an ultra-conservative Jewish, very small community sect. Thank you. That was the word I was scrambling for you. That does not believe in vaccination. There are other religious groups, so it's not just polio, but not been vaccinated against measles or TB or anything else. Mary's dad spent 2.5 years in the sanatorium because of TB. And the stories he told were, it definitely was not a pleasant time. You know, I just, it's unfortunate. I mean, that's the best thing I can say. It's unfortunate. So.
Very sure is. They probably don't know what's in the vaccine, just like they don't know what's in their Big Mac or their Twinkie.
That's right.
You mean a Twinkie will hurt me?
Twinkies are good for you.
They're good for Todd, that's for sure.
I might stop and get one on the way home. I didn't see them up
A
there.
12-second Twinkie store. I get a thing of Twinkies when I'm on a really long bike ride, a little quick energy, and got one in Grafton about a month ago, and I wait until I get out of town, close to the river. I stop, open, I take a bite. It's very filled. I'm like, no, I want the cream filled.
Oh.
I was like,
Very.
I was like.
Not even a
It's
Twinkie.
healthy.
I know.
Goodness gracious.
So now you got really lucky. Check your phone, make sure we're not buried.
Okay.
Everybody check your Twinkies.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I want to apologize for last week. My buddy here, Al, always informs me of what I do. That's crazy. But he said, all you could see on me, last week was my face a couple of times and like my phone moving around all these different windows and stuff. So I spent time last night and hooked up the speaker to my phone. So, because I was having to hold my phone up like this, next to my ear to be able to hear you guys.
Oh.
So I thought I'd show up. Yeah, I'd show up today and apologize for that. Yeah, my phone, but it's not that loud.
We send EMTs over to your house to check on it.
Check on the dog.
Exactly. Well, then Carolyn, why don't you tell us a little bit about the program for next week, since it is your program?
Chris Merriman, she's got a place out in Cook Station. She was raised out there. And she started this nonprofit organization called The Bridge. And it's to bridge people that have stuff to people that don't, to help them out, you know. And they've got a store that just opened over in Maryland Heights. I forgot what the address is now. Anyway, and nothing that gets donated over there, nothing doesn't get recycled. If, you know, stuff that doesn't sell, or if clothes get donated that have holes in them or whatever, they take the zippers and the buttons off and everything, put them in another pile, and so everything, you know, gets recycled and stuff. But it's a very nice store and very nice organization. So
Good.
look forward to your
Wonderful. We do have a drawing.
Not much of one.
Not much of one.
Oh, I don't know if we have.
But I brought a new deck of cards that has a joker in it, supposedly. I don't think I remember. Where did I put it? That's the question.
So I'm just gonna say, Sergeant, if you win the drawing today, we will respect your privacy. We will not let the media know, you know, that you got this windfall.
There you go, sir.
All right,
Back in the back. Okay, back there somewhere.
I'm excited. Sign on the building. That's what I'm waiting for today.
Another thing that Chris Merriman's doing is she's redoing the Cook Station, the town of Cook Station, that's not like that, nothing. But it's just outside of Steelville, about 15 miles. But she bought the old Mercantile store building and the depot and the hotel and everything, and she's restoring it to the best that she can and stuff. And they're gonna have events out there. Probably start next year.
Well, Brian, since you're still a young man till Friday, would you pull the winning ticket
Does
out?
Brian have a birthday Friday? Hmm.
205.
Rude.
All right.
Holy cow.
Right.
Coincidence?
It's a big one. Right?
It's a big one?
Yeah.
Certainly not 60.
What is it like?
Or
Certainly it is.
$3?
60?
What was that 70 thing?
I don't know.
You say
70?
50?
50?
No, 60.
60? All right. Congratulations.
Oh, so sorry.
Oh, she.
But not really.
Well, we will not sing next week, and we won't sing for Brian.
Okay, well, you know what? I went to
No, you do not want to start that here.
Yeah.
Well, now, what was I gonna say?
You're talking about High Ridge. and
High
everything.
Ridge, yes, exactly. I was gonna say where they pay if they don't want to sing.
But somebody always
Okay.
pays more to hear them sing.
Okay. All right.
And everybody's up to
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was- most of them, Josh is probably not young enough, not old enough to remember this. Camel X used to do the morning march every morning, and they, from time to time, they would have to notch their band. That was just horrid. I mean, I think they were really probably a good band. They just played everything off tempo, off key. That's kind of what the singing was at High Ridge. So, you know, we could build our pot up a little bit more if we started that.
Well, a few years when Mitch was on hiatus, our singing went downhill really fast. Some of us would actually start laughing at the end of the singing. Just like- But then he came back and it was much better.
Well, all right.
And always.
Yes, and always did your job. So,
My problem is I don't find the person.
well, Josh, welcome again, and I hope you come back. And as we close the meeting, let's say the Rotary four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and go out and do good for others.